But go away. So I'm really hungry too. All right, let's talk homework and lab. I'm gonna make this fast. Share right away. Go. Okay. I'm super stoked about it. Module 5. You'll have a quiz. Oh wait, that's biosphere. Sorry. You'll have a quiz. Your lab. You need Google Earth Pro for this. Please make sure you have Google Earth Pro and that it is up and running. There are 3 new links that you will need to use. Sea ice, largest glaciers, and glaciers and climate change. You should just be able to pop that and download it. But I have had some people that are like, I can't download this. So I have also given you the website that I took these KMZ files from, which is reliable. It's a great website. Here are the KMZ files you'll need. You'll need this one, and the bottom one, not this one. You don't have to worry about this one. But I want you to have those 3. I've listed them on here, okay? Your lab, which I'm very excited about, ask you to look at sea ice extent first, and I did this in an order. So let me zoom out. I've already downloaded them, obviously. I want, not that one, here it is, sea ice extent. So you're gonna look, oh my God. Oh my God. Well, that's not what I want. Okay, we'll download it again. There we go. This is what it should look like. When in doubt, re-download. Okay. So this is what it looks like. It's the sea ice extent. This is the North Pole. You're also going to have sea ice extent for Antarctica down here. You're going to want to look at both, but most of what we look at is going to be Greenland. And I guess if we take this layer off, here's Greenland, right? If you want to put it to the north, I think I asked you to, but I realized I was like, you don't really have to because this is all the north. We're on the North Pole. So this is not the Greenland ice sheet. This is the ice sheet that sits over the water. And next week, we'll talk more about why that is so important regarding climate change and why that's so different. But what I will say is that ice over water is going to melt significantly faster than it is over land, right? If that's not intuitive, that's okay. We know that it is melting much faster over the water. Now, up here, you have this slidey tool, which is really cool. Oh, that's annoying. That's going to show you how this ice has changed from 1978 to, it's doing that because this is being stupid. I need to just get rid of all of these, to 2023. You're going to use a sliding tool for this one. You're going to do the same thing for one of the questions for down in Antarctica, but this is the slidey tool, okay? And you're going to answer those questions. Now, this table here asks you to measure that, and we're just measuring the north. I'm not asking you to measure Antarctica too. So you're going to come up here and it says, here are the dates, and there's going to be 2 ways that you're going to measure these. So the first one's 1978, so we can start in 1978. If you aren't, let me just bigify this so we see it all. If you are not, oh, that didn't help because now we can't get to it. Sorry. If you are not familiar with Google Earth, if you have not been using it, which hopefully you have been, but I know some of you have struggled using Google Earth Pro. Excuse me, can you go away, please? Thank you. This tool here is our ruler tool. You're going to click it, and it's going to give you this pop-up. I'm going to move it aside. You can move it aside. Right now, it's set to miles, and I want it in miles. I just thought miles would be easier for us to wrap your brain around. You can do kilometers, though, inches, feet, whatever you want. We're going to do miles. And then you have this square thingy as your pointer. You're going to single click. That's it. I just clicked once. I guess, first of all, I should double check. North is this way. So we're starting over here, and we're going to measure the extent of the ice east to west. This is giving me 2,825 miles. You don't have to do the decimals if you don't want. And that is what I'm going to write east to west. Here's the distance in miles in 1978. Now, similarly, so you can clear that, we're going to go from north to south. And I am picking the furthest point to the furthest point. Where do I think this ice sheet is the thickest at? So from north to south here, it's now 1,885 miles. I'm going to write that. Oh my God, I keep clicking this. Go away. I'm going to write that here in north to south, 1978. And then I'm going to go to these years and do the same thing. Measure those from thickest point to thickest point, east to west and north to south. I've also started to do this. I had a colleague tell me this trick. So you're going to write your response here, and this way it's all going to be in a different color. So when I grade, I can see it, which is really helpful for me. Okay, you're going to answer all these questions. Part 2 is largest glaciers. So you're going to download that one, which is this one. And I'm also going to unclick this so I can see these glaciers. Now, as part of this part of the assignment, you're going to find the largest glacier in each continent. Obviously, there is the largest one in Antarctica, but I asked you to write the country, so you might have to do a little searching here to figure out where these countries are, what these countries are. So North America, for example, you go over to North America, maybe. Where are you, North America? Oh, now I'm, this is my biggest pet peeve with this. Here's North America. She's upside down, so let's flip her. Whee! All right, so North America, our largest glaciers are going to be over here. I want to remind you, Greenland is not technically North America. I guess these guys kind of are, but I mean, I would go with one of these. So here's your largest glacier. It's close to Alaska. You're going to scooch in. And there's a couple different names you can, I don't think you can click on these. Oh, yes, you can. You're going to, yeah, you have to, because you're going to find the name of that glacier and you're going to figure out the volume. So you might have to click on some of these to figure out which one's the biggest. 30,194 kilometers squared. You're going to put that in the area with each continent. And then I ask which continent that is not Antarctica. Antarctica definitely has the largest glacier by area. Oopsie. And then part 3 is not this one, but climate change. And this one, okay, this one's not as visible because they have these little blue snowflakes. So you might have to double click these and it'll take you to Alaska. There are a couple different places that they have these glaciers, but I really just ask about the ones here in southern Alaska, right below the Aleutian Islands. Because I have maybe six different glaciers, and they're all right here in this spot. And you're going to click, I think you have to click the actual snowflake. Boop. Holgate Glacier. You're going to tell me the year the first image was taken. In this case, it was, it went away. Back to Google Earth. If it does that, it's been doing that to me all day. Just hit back to Google Earth. Oops, down. Go away. A lake glacier. The first year was 1909. The most recent was 2005. You're going to put that here. You're going to put that here. And then you're going to give me a description. What do you notice about the changes, the comparison between this image and this image? And maybe it's not a huge difference, but maybe it is. So I want you to describe those changes as best you can, just in a few sentences. And then you're going to answer what were some commonalities, what were some differences, and then extrapolate. So that's your Google Earth Pro activity. You need to make sure that you can get all of these Google Earth Pro files. If you can't download them, please email me. Let's figure it out. But we will be needing Google Earth Pro for this assignment. And finally, the last part of this lab I'm really excited about is this link here. It keeps popping up kind of funky on mine. You're going to generate the risk map. I have to bigify it to get all of the details that I want. So you might have to choose a map. The map that you're going to choose is ice sheets. This is important. There's a bunch of other ones you can choose, which play around with it if you want. I love these resources. That internet's so cool. But we want ice sheets. And we're going to start with, 1 foot. Let's try that again. Meters. I don't know why it's switching everything on me. So make sure it's in meters and make sure it starts with 1. And I also want Greenland, not Antarctica. So we're just considering Greenland. If Greenland were to melt and raise the sea level 1 meter, just 1 meter, what is it going to look like? So mine zoomed into Bellingham, which is where you're going to want to go. And you're going to tell me the different cities that are affected with 1 meter. And then you're going to go to 3.5, which is what's going to happen if about half of Greenland's ice sheets melts. This orange coloration indicates water inundation, essentially a change of shoreline effectively. So look and see what else is going to change. And then finally, here's what's going to happen if the entire Greenland ice sheet melts. It's terrifying. And the reason I want you to look at this is I want you to think about how are we as a population going to adapt to this? Like, there's no way to change this if this were to happen. So how do you think we're going to adapt? And in one module, I don't remember, we're going to talk about hazard and mitigation and stuff, but this is sort of where we're going to start to think about that. And it's just a really fascinating, I have to bigify it again, program, because I'm going to zoom out. At some point, you're going to have to zoom out to the entire United States and to the world. I mean, you can see where this water level is going to affect all of these different countries. This is a really cool interactive map. So it's a little futzy. Play around with it. Don't get too frustrated. When in doubt, just re-click. Although I think it's just going to go to the same place. But play around with it. It's a really cool map. Okay, so that is your lab this week. Your homework I don't know why I stopped sharing, because I have to go back to my interwebs. And we'll just do this. So that's your lab. Your homework this week. I'm kind of excited about. I don't know how it's going to go. This is the first time I assigned this homework. So we'll see. But you're going to build me a PowerPoint presentation. Maximum or minimum 10 slides. Like, it's not that crazy. I actually think this is super feasible. Normally for my environmental science class, I do 15 slide minimums. So you're welcome. You're going to do 10 PowerPoint slides. Follow the 6x6 rule. This is, if you want to look, this is going to take you to this website that talks about what the 6x6 rule is. It's a guideline, all right? It's not a rule. I do say it's not going to be perfect. I've had students who write 6 points or 6 words for 6 bullet points for every slide. And it's like, you don't have to do that. It's a guideline just so you don't write paragraphs for each PowerPoint slide and you're not writing like 1 or 2 words for each bullet point. That's all I'm trying to get you guys in the habit of doing. I think building a PowerPoint is really important. So make sure that you're utilizing those skills, but it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Oh, there will be a link to a file that I have that shows you some really good PowerPoint slides and some really shitty ones. You can use templates. I do not care. I get students that use AI templates all the time. That being said, I had a student in my environmental science class who used a template and, like, I don't know, didn't double check his work and ended up submitting like 150 slides because he used different templates and didn't delete the other ones. Like, look back to see what you're submitting, okay? I cannot stress that enough. And also, most importantly, use images. So if you know, with my PowerPoint, I like to use pictures. And these pictures are going to be relevant based on the information that I'm covering. So don't just like throw random pictures in there, but have images embedded to help you tell your story. I think that that's a really useful skill to understand and to know. So the PowerPoint content, talked about formatting, but the PowerPoint content is you're going to choose one of these Cascade volcanoes. And I picked these ones particularly because of the glaciers that they have. I don't care which one. You don't have to email and be like, can I do Mount Rainier? Yes, you can. I do not care. But you'll need, so I've given you individual sources for each one to get you started. So you can look through them all if you want and be like, oh, it looks like Mount Baker might be the easiest. Let's do this one. I don't care. But you're going to need to find 2 other sources that talk about this content. You're going to talk about the name of your volcano, where is it located. This might be a good place for you to embed a map image. How many main glaciers are on your volcano? What are some fun facts about your volcano's glaciers? So maybe one of these volcanoes is like what I talked about in the lecture video regarding it has the most precipitation every year, but loses all of that snow. One of them is. Then I want you to talk about how much glacial ice is being lost on your volcano each year. And what communities, cities, or towns is this glacial loss affecting? How and why? No, I'm not going to dive into it because that'll give too much away, and I want you to really research this and think about that. And then finally, is there research going into the glacial loss on your volcano and what we anticipate these glaciers to look like? If you can come up with other things to talk about, awesome. Keep in mind you need at least 10 slides, but one of those slides can be a title slide and one can be a reference slide. So really, it's just 8 slides. It's not even that hard. And you're going to need 2 other sources. Make sure you reference them in your reference slide. If you do not have references, you're going to not have those 5 points. Okay. And then you're going to submit a PowerPoint presentation or a PDF. I do not care which one you submit. I just want a PowerPoint slide, a really nice PowerPoint slide about this. So I don't think it's that crazy of a homework assignment. I think it'll be fun. And I tried to make it light-ish because you're also going to be doing your part of your second project this week. So please reach out with any questions or concerns. Otherwise, bye.